Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the American Safeguard Insurance Studios. Your hosts, Matt McJunkins and Matt Wilcox, your source for Arkansas high school sports. You are now between the mats.
Welcome to Between the Mats. I am Matt McJunkins, and alongside, just across the row from me, is Matty Stats Wilcox. How you doing, Matty?
I'm great, Junk. How are you?
I'm doing good. Got a little bit of football blues.
Yeah, a little bit of blues today. But I'll tell you, yesterday, if you just sat at home and didn't have anything better to do but watch football, there were some great ball games
there
on.
was.
Good night.
There was. You know, I watched Harding play.
Yeah.
And that was kind of a heartbreaker.
Sure.
But you're right, man. I mean,
Michigan, Ohio State was a
Yes.
dandy. Then last night, Oklahoma State, Oklahoma.
Yes. Alabama.
Alabama and Auburn. Like, it was just good football.
Hey, explain something to me real quick.
Sure.
How is Louisiana ranked ahead of Arkansas?
Like Louisiana University?
Louisiana University.
I have no idea.
They're 11-1.
Yeah.
Their one loss was by 10 to Mississippi State, who
Right.
Arkansas beat.
Sure.
They beat Arkansas State by 1. They beat Georgia State. Is that Georgia State's who we played, right?
Yeah.
They beat them by 5. We beat them by like 1,000. Like I don't get it.
I don't understand
Like there's
it either.
people saying we're like still 24th, 25th today.
That doesn't make any sense.
Like you're 8-4.
Right.
You're third in the West.
Yeah.
I mean you're
Had the toughest schedule in the country.
yeah.
I mean, I don't get it.
You're 9 points from. Is it 7 or 8 or 9 points from winning the West?
Yeah, that's right. That's exactly right. I mean, you're 8. Alabama beat us 7. And Ole Miss beat us 1.
Yeah, there you go.
Good grief. Well, anyway, we'll talk about the Hogs. We'll start off there today. As we talked about, Hogs finished 8-4, won the Battle Line Trophy for the first time in 6 years.
Yes.
That's insane that
Yes.
they've beat us 6 years in a row.
And I just want to say, Eli Drinkwitz he makes me like Lane Kiffin. He is the biggest
Yeah.
loser.
Yeah.
I mean, he comes out and runs his mouth during SEC days.
Yeah.
I heard that, his buddy's old Malzahn.
Mm-hmm.
And I heard that Malzahn was like, man, you better watch it. You got to go home. 'Cause he's from Alma.
Right, yes.
And then he's like, yeah, I like this rivalry. I think we've won 5 in a row. No, Missouri won 5 in a row.
That's right.
You've won 1, and now you just lost 1.
That's right.
So
Exactly.
I hope he has some good contacts in the FCS.
Yes.
And I hear that maybe Allen High School is looking for some help. He ain't gonna be there long.
No, he won't be there long. He does have a very punchable face, you know.
Boy, he does. Oh.
So the Hogs finish up 8-4. Man, what a job Sam Pittman has done. And listen, I'm a homer. I get it. I'm a little biased. But how do you not vote for that guy for SEC Coach of the Year?
Oh, 100%. Who else do you give it to?
Well, I mean, I get
Kiffin.
Man, Kirby Smart's had a heck of a year.
Yeah.
I mean,
I wasn't thinking about the East. Yes,
But-
100%.
But I mean, this guy, if you know where we came from
Yes.
and what we're at now, like you have to give it to him.
And if you're a Hog fan that like you haven't bought in him yet,
Yeah.
get off the wagon. Man.
That's right.
Go pull for Missouri.
That's right.
I mean, my goodness.
No doubt. So Hogs win it 34-17 in pretty much dominating fashion. KJ played another great ball game, and I'm just going to throw it out there. Beginning of the season, I was not sold on KJ Jefferson.
No, you weren't.
I was not. I was not a believer.
Yeah.
I didn't think he had what it took to play at this level, and boy, was I wrong.
And I wasn't. I don't think anybody was like, "Oh, he's our guy."
Sure.
Because even during the spring and stuff, we heard that like he wasn't great all the
Yeah.
time. But yeah, I'm like you, man. If you're not sold on him right now,
Well, I mean, even Pittman come out in the spring and said our quarterback play is going to have to improve.
yes.
Like he was critical of him.
But I'm gonna tell you, he's a gamer.
Man, he is a baller. So Bazelak finished 10 of 26 and did not impress at all.
No.
Man, kid, I don't know where all the hype came from him, but he was 10 of 26 for 65 yards, which is a 2.5 yard average, and had 1 pick. Get this, 14.9 QBR.
I didn't even know you could get that.
That's pretty solid.
I thought it's kind of like the ACT. As long as you spell your name right, you get so much.
That's right. So the running back, is it Beatty?
Yeah, Beatty.
Tyler Beatty had
He's the real deal.
Man, 41 carries for 219 yards and a touchdown. So he's a stud. KJ was 15 of 19 for 262, 1 touchdown, 0 interceptions, which has been his stat line all year. I mean, he's taking care of the football, been efficient. He does miss some throws, but man, he makes some good ones too.
Yeah. Traylon Williams has had a good career so far, but some of these other backs have really
they have.
better than
and
him.
I'm going to go over some season stats here in a minute, and you'll kind of see they've kind of caught him a little bit. KJ had 6 carries for 58 yards. Traylon had 7 for 37. Davion Warren had 1 electric one for 32.
Yeah.
Rocket had 8 of 21. Traylon Burks continues to impress. 7 catches, 129 yards, and a touchdown.
Man, I wish that some way, somewhat, how he would stay next year.
Me too. All right, so I got some season stats for you. Just kind of let you know how the Hogs ended up individually this year. KJ, I read the other day, or maybe today, that he had the best QBR for a Razorback quarterback in history
Really?
for a season.
And all the naysayers.
Yeah. Can you
Wow.
believe that? I think his QBR for the year was like 164.7 or something silly.
Is that just a passing stat?
Yeah, it's just I don't know what all goes into that equation, but it's pretty vast, I think.
So all this extra, all the running and all that's not figured.
No.
So you figured that plus.
That's right.
We've never. Well, say never. Matt Jones
Matt
was pretty
Jones.
prolific on the ground, but
Queen Grovey.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah. So he was 184 of 275 this season for 2,578 yards, which is 67% at 9.4 average. He had 21 touchdowns versus 3 interceptions, and that's crazy to think that we played the schedule we played, and he only threw 3 picks.
He got hit as much as he did.
Yeah, he had 22 sacks.
Yes.
And
should have had probably 32 that he just didn't go down.
That's exactly right. On the rushing side, this was pretty eye-opening, so this is kind of cool to look at. Traylon Smith had 117 carries for 592 yards. KJ was our second leading ball carrier with 126 carries for 554 yards. Rocket Sanders, 101 carries for 499 yards. And then Dominic Johnson had 88 carries for 498 yards. So out of 4 backs, one of them being your quarterback, all of them had right at 500 yards, and all of them were right at 5 yards a carry.
So do the sacks count against the attempts?
You know, I don't know in college that they do. I think they do in the NFL.
Okay.
I'm not sure about college.
So, I mean, who was the last one you said? Johnson?
Dominic Johnson, yeah.
He had the best by far.
Yeah, he had
per carry.
5.8, yeah.
Yeah.
And 7 touchdowns. He led everybody in touchdowns. And then A.J. Green had 43 carries for 201, which is 4.7, so that's pretty good too.
Pretty salty.
Yeah. Traylon Burks had 66 catches for 1,104 yards, which is 16.7 yard average. And I don't
Half of those he caught 3 yards behind the line of scrimmage.
That's right. I don't have his touchdowns on here, but
I mean, if you took away the ones that he got dropped for a 3-yard loss because he had nothing to work with,
yeah.
my goodness.
That's right. Our second leading receiver was Tyson Morse, who had a solid year for us.
He did.
21 catches for 305 yards, and then Warren Thompson, 18 catches for 292.
And, Knox came on some at the end.
He did.
He should be back next year, I think.
Yeah, he ended up with 18 catches for 130 yards. So, yeah, so that's the Hogs in a nutshell for the season. Man, what a great season it was. I think that the bowl predictions is either we're going to Florida somewhere. Either
Is that right?
The Outback, the Citrus, or the Gator Bowl is
Yeah.
kind of what I've
I
heard.
think I'd heard before that to get the Citrus, Louisville was going to have to beat Kentucky.
Oh, is that what it was?
But I don't know for sure.
Yeah, because Kentucky finished, 9-3? So they're probably
Yeah.
ahead of us, yeah. So
Man.
we're probably Outback or Gator, I'm
I just
guessing.
wish we could play the Cotton Bowl and play Oklahoma.
Yeah, it would be awesome.
I'm just not sold on that bunch over there.
No.
And I know that they went toe-to-toe with Oklahoma State, another one I'm not sold on.
They're minus a coach right now, by the way.
They are.
Yeah.
I saw that.
Yeah. So Lincoln Riley decided he didn't want any of the SEC. So he's going to head out west. And me and my brother were talking about it earlier. And, he could go out there and look like a hero because
Right.
Pac-12 is terrible right now.
Right.
I mean, you got Oregon, and that's it.
Yeah.
So
you're saying he didn't want to play in the SEC?
that's what I'm saying. I think he was a little scared.
Well, he's just not really impressed at Oklahoma. He's taken a really good program and just done pretty good.
Just
with it.
okay. He also, my brother also told me they're bringing Bob Stoops back to coach the bowl game.
Are they really?
That's what he said.
If they're lucky, he'll stay.
Well, there's talks that Mark Stoops is going to take the Oklahoma job?
Man, I'm sure money and, the name would be great.
A lot of pressure comes
He's
with
got
that
a pretty
OU
good
job.
gig right now.
He does.
I mean, he can just show up right now.
That's right. I mean, they don't care about football
Don't
in
schedule
Kentucky.
anything important during basketball
That's
season.
right. Yeah, no doubt.
Hey, do you think there's any chance that Burks or Catalon comes back?
Man, I don't.
Neither one.
As much as I would love for them to, I think they're gonna go get drafted pretty high.
I've heard that Poole very likely will,
Oh, really?
because he could get a COVID year,
Yeah.
and Pittman said that he believes that Ridgeway could improve his draft status by coming back.
But hadn't Ridgeway already said he wasn't coming back?
I don't know, but this was lately that he said this.
Oh, okay. Well, sweet.
That him and Poole, and there was one or two more that would qualify to come back because of a COVID year.
That'd be awesome.
And I think they thought Poole would, and that he just really harped on that it would really be beneficial for Ridgeway too. I mean, that may be him going, please.
Yeah, exactly. I did read where Danny West tweeted that there's going to be some chunks of exciting news in recruiting coming up here pretty quickly.
I bet there is.
So
You look what they've done with where we were at.
that's right.
You throw some success in there.
Yeah, no doubt. Pretty exciting stuff. All right, so on to high school we go, but before we get into these player highlights, we must talk about our picks. And I was down a touchdown. Thought I would make up some ground. Thought I picked some really good picks, but turns out I really didn't.
Well, you didn't do terrible,
Yeah.
and I didn't either. But I didn't do great, so it didn't really hurt you. We're just still tied.
Right.
We were on the points.
Yes. I saw that.
8.5.
That's insane.
8.58.
Yeah.
That's twice this year, less than a point.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it has been.
So I'm still down by 6 going into, I guess.
Semis and finals.
Yeah. I mean, it'd be the last full week of
Yeah.
all classifications.
So finals, we've got 6 of them, and then there's 3 semis left.
yeah.
So there are 9 games, and
That's
you're down
right.
6.
Yeah.
But they're big ones.
They're big ones.
There's no hands down.
No. Not
What's going to happen?
Not at this point. All right, so let's get into these players from last
All right.
week. Over at Clarendon, we'll start out with Caleb Williams, 5 of 8 for 133 yards, 1 touchdown. Also had 20 carries for 126 yards and 1 TD. Quincy McAdoo, 11 carries, 75 yards, 1 touchdown, 4 catches for 107 yards and a touchdown, and also had 5 tackles. Mr. Kane Cohen, 10 carries for 134 yards, 2 touchdowns, and Caden Reynolds, 7 tackles, 4 of them for loss, and 1 fumble recovery.
Over at Prescott, they lost Hobson this week.
Man, I hate to hear
I
that.
do too.
Dadgummit.
I was talking to Coach Glass about it. He said, I don't think he'd mind me saying this. He said he's the most explosive back he's seen since Basil Shabazz.
That's pretty high praise.
And when he told me it was Friday night late, and it just made me think of Joe Hyman.
Right.
Because watching him Friday night, I mean,
Yeah.
he was every bit as advertised.
Oh, that kid's special.
And so, I mean, I just hate it for them.
Man, especially at this point in the season.
Yes.
You've come this far. Just, we faced it
We faced it.
with Cooper,
and a couple of receivers.
That's right. You come this far, you've had this kind of success, you just want to be able to finish.
Yeah,
So
and you're close.
our heart goes out to him.
He did say that the backup's a dandy.
Good.
So he's still confident in
Good.
their success.
Good deal.
So for Prescott, Karsten Poole, 14 for 18 throwing the football, 193 yards, 2 touchdowns, and he also scored a 2-point conversion. Eric Grigsby, 15 carries, 94 yards, 2 touchdowns. Jacqueline Zachary, 2 rushes, 21 yards, 3 catches, 76 yards, a touchdown, and an interception. Caleb Harris, 5 catches, 78 yards, 1 touchdown, and a 2-point conversion. Rashawn Bell, 2 interceptions, 1 return for a 99-yard touchdown.
Wow.
And Bayless Price from Prescott, 3-yard fumble return for a touchdown.
Man, that 99-yard interception return is just a heartbreaker.
Oh, yes. I mean, that means you were about to score.
That's right. All right, so to Conway we go. They lost speaking of heartbreakers, they lost a tough one to Fayetteville in the last seconds of that ball game. Boogie Carr, what a ball game. 29 carries for 250 yards. Sophomore quarterback Donovan Amolo, 19 of 36 for 192 yards, 1 touchdown, and also had a rushing touchdown. And that kid has a bright future in Conway.
Boy, he does. And Boogie Carr's just a junior.
Yeah, that's right.
So,
Yep.
I do want to say this about Conway. You know, of course, we're big believers in them and know how good they are and pulled for them. They lost 2 games in the last 4 weeks against the top 2.
Yeah.
Competition in the state in the last
minute.
Yeah.
So
I mean, they're right there.
They're right
you know,
there.
A couple of things go different, and they're sitting on top.
Sure. And we this is a whole nother conversation for off season, but I heard the calling was pretty suspect at Fayetteville. I heard they got 2 touchdowns called back and just some pretty questionable calling.
We've seen a lot of that this year.
We have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so Jalen Blackburn from Fayetteville, 10 catches, 141 yards, 1 touchdown. Bladen Fike, 28 for 44, 438 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Wow.
What a night. Isaiah Satania, 8 catches, 136 yards, and 1 touchdown.
All right, over in Arkadelphia, a huge win over Crossett to advance to the semifinals on the back of Mr. Donovan Witten. What a game. 17 of 25 for 303 yards passing, 3 touchdowns through the air, and then on the ground he had 17 carries for 112 yards and a touchdown. Jayshon Davis, 15 carries, 87 yards, 2 TDs, 5 catches for 45 yards and another touchdown. And Antonio Hughes, 7 catches, 154 yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 carry for 13 yards and a touchdown.
So Donovan doesn't usually run the ball like that.
Not that.
I think they spared Jayshon some in the second half. Jayshon's been playing a lot of defense.
Gotcha.
And so I think just because they were winning by a large margin,
sure.
And so Donovan got to carry the ball.
Hey,
much.
That's not much of a trade-off when you go from Jayshon to Donovan.
No, it's not. No, it's not like you're going from big to tiny.
No,
is it?
no, not at all.
All right, Jalen White over at Parkview in a tough loss by the Patriots there. 7 for 12, 231 yards and 1 touchdown.
In Center Point, Josh Lawson, the quarterback's had a great year there at Center Point. He's 14 of 24 for 131 yards.
Yeah, what a good season they had.
Yeah, sure it was.
Let's see here. Well, every time I look up, I lose my spot. Randon Ray from Boonville. That's a name we've heard a lot this year. He ran the ball for 220 yards, 4 touchdowns.
Wow. At Joe T. Robinson, Mr. Darrell Searcy, 10 carries, 165 yards, 3 touchdowns, and a touchdown catch. And Noah Freeman had 3 rushing touchdowns over at Robinson.
16.5 a carry.
Wow.
Pretty impressive.
Yep.
All right, so Andrew Miller at Harding Academy in their win Friday night, 19 carries, 111 yards, 2 touchdowns.
Man, he's had a great year.
Well, he has.
Greenwood with a big win over Parkview to advance to the finals again. Mr. Hunter Houston with what a night, 30 of 47, 368 yards, 4 touchdowns, 95 yards rushing, and a touchdown on the ground as well. And then Aiden Kennan had 12 catches for 163 yards and 2 touchdowns.
You know, that game there, they got handed to them by Parkview.
They did.
Earlier in the season. And you and I picked differently in this game.
Yeah.
Because we knew it was going to be a
different game.
That's right.
Yeah.
All right, over at Bryant, Carson Burnett, quarterback there, 10 for 22, 172 yards, 2 touchdowns, 5 carries for 20 yards. Chris Ganaway, name that we've become very familiar with, 11 carries, 110 yards, 10 a carry for a touchdown. Mytorian Singleton at Bryant, 7 catches, 110 yards, 1 touchdown. And then Brandon Jones, 3 sacks.
Wow, that's impressive. At Pulaski Academy, Charlie Pfizer, 30 of 53 for 324 yards and 2 touchdowns, 16 carries for 48 yards. And this might be the most impressive football player I've seen all year. Yes. Mr. Joseph Hyman from Pulaski Academy had 25 carries for 255 yards and 3 touchdowns, 14 catches for 112 yards and a touchdown. And that touchdown catch, let me tell you something, I still don't know how he caught it.
It was in double coverage.
I still don't know how he caught it. It was unbelievable.
Yeah, it's kind of like watching Manny
yeah,
Smith.
Yeah.
You look at these kids, and he's not any bigger than Manny, I don't think, and he goes up and gets it.
It was incredible.
Cooper Wilcox from Greenbrier, 16 for 43, 255 yards, 2 touchdowns, 9 carries, 94 yards, 2 touchdowns, an 84-yard rushing touchdown to bring the game within 7 in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
This is a quarterback who last week was knocked out of the game, thought he was out for the season, just snapped it up and just came out and gave it all he had.
Yeah, let me tell you. I mean, I don't want people to think that this was some kind of a trick or
yeah.
ploy. I mean, he was seriously. If you'd have saw the kid last Friday when I went to the locker room, tears running down his eyes, how much pain he was in. we literally thought his collarbone was broke and he was done for the season.
Also, it was 7-0 against one of the best teams in the state.
That's right.
So we weren't trying to
No.
overplay it.
So, by the grace of God, we found out nothing was broken. Then we got an MRI, nothing was torn. And it was just basically at that point a pain tolerance deal. And there's no way I was going to keep him off the field. So.
I don't think he'd have let you.
All right, so over to Whitehall. They advanced to the finals to take on the mighty Pulaski Academy Bruins, beat a good Little Rock Christian team. Matthew Martinez was 7 of 12 for 51 yards, 1 touchdown, 18 carries for 100 yards and a touchdown. Zaire Green, 11 carries for 86 yards and a touchdown.
Ben Gerard over at Marion, 194 yards, 2 touchdowns passing.
And in El Dorado, they advanced to the finals. Sherman Rester, what a year he's had, 421 yards through the air and 5 touchdowns.
Wow.
Yeah.
Eli Wisdom, Shallow Christian, another one that's just had an amazing year. 3 touchdown passes, a touchdown run, and a 25-yard pick six.
Not bad. All right, Little Rock Christian, Mr. Walker White, the sophomore quarterback there who has a bright future as well. He was 10 of 19 for 115 yards, also had 90 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns on the ground.
At Poen, huge win by the Indians at Poen.
It was.
Colton Lowe, 3 for 5, 102 yards, 1 touchdown pass, and then he ran the ball 31 times. 130 yards, 3 touchdowns. Blake Rhodes from Poen, 16 carries, 73 yards, and a touchdown.
All right, and that's going to wrap us up for our players' highlights of the week, and we are bearing down here on the end of high school football, as sad as it may be.
It is.
Man, I'm not ready for basketball season.
I tell you what, let me say this. I'm a little wore out.
Yeah.
Like physically just like exhausted.
Right.
And granted, I'm not even playing football. And I understand that. But what I'm saying, from Pee Wee football to practices and podcasting and broadcasting and just going all over the country. I'm sad to see it, and after a couple of weeks of not having it, I'm really gonna be sad.
Right.
But I'm just tired.
Just ready for a break.
I'm ready for a break.
I hear you, brother. I hear you. All right. So on to our top 10s we will go. Why don't you start us at 2A this week?
All right.
I
can do that.
I think we worked from the top down last week.
Yeah, I think so. And I like 2A.
Yeah.
So we had McCrory at number 1 last week, Fordyce at 2, Clarendon 3, Des Arc 4, Hazen 5, Bigelow 6, Magnet Cove 7, Poland 8, East Poinsett County 9, and Quitman 10. McCrory hosted Des Arc in a rematch, 2 tough top teams in the state.
Yes.
And McCrory beat them again, beat them 30-18. Close game though, similar to the one before. Number 2, Fordyce scored at the end of the game to beat Magnet Cove 30-29.
I think I checked the scores at halftime of the Greenbrier game, and I think Magnet was putting it on.
They were.
Yeah.
They were. I think they were down 27 or 28-0.
Wow.
Man, I think it might be 29-0.
Unreal.
Oh, yeah. It was 29-0.
Is that right?
And they beat them 30-29.
Good night.
Isn't that crazy?
That is crazy.
Clarendon beat EPC 35-22. Des Arc, we mentioned they lost. Hazen lost to Poen. One that I sure kind of shocked me, 38-24. Proves that maybe that conference down there a little tougher than we give them credit for. Magnet Cove, they lost to Fordyce, like as we mentioned, by 1. What a tough matchup. And then Poen and East Poinsett County, or Poen beat Hazen. East Poinsett County, they lost to Clarendon. Quitman didn't play. So this week, McCrory holds the number 1 spot. They'll play at Poen on Friday night for the semifinal match. Fordyce, they hold on to number 2 with that win against Magnet Cove. They'll play Clarendon in I bet it's going to be a showdown.
Yeah, I think so too.
Number 3, Clarendon, as we just mentioned, they'll play at Fordyce for Magnet Cove. We give them the nod for the 4 spot just because they're 1 point away from being beaten. We're playing Clarendon Friday night.
That's right.
Des Arc, number 5, their home or their season has ended. They're 10-2. Poen 6, they're playing McCrory they're at home. That's right. Number 7, Bigelow. Number 8, Hazen. 9, East Poinsett County, and Quitman at number 10.
Very nice. So your semifinal for 2A is McCrory at Poen.
That's right.
And Fordyce against Clarendon.
That's right.
Is it Fordyce? Yeah.
At Fordyce.
Okay. Very nice. All right, 3A. Last week we had Prescott 1, Boonville 2, Harding 3, McGee 4, Hoxie 5, Glen Rose 6, Centerpoint 7, Newport 8, Charleston 9, and Paris 10. And this week, not a whole lot has changed as the top 4 hold serve. Prescott beat Newport in a rematch that didn't really end up much different than the first time they played them.
No, it really didn't. They had – God, I'm going to forget. I want to say I think they held Newport to 5 first downs.
Wow.
And 143 total yards of offense.
Goodness gracious. So they beat Newport 47-7. They will play at McGee in the semis this Friday. Boonville continues to roll. They beat Glen Rose, which we thought might be a pretty good ball game.
Yeah.
They just handled them, beat them 49-21, and Boonville will play at Harding this week. Number 3, Harding beat Centerpoint handedly, beat them 35-7, and this Harding defense has been impressive all year long.
What has?
And they, like we said, will play Boonville this Friday. McGee just continues to roll. They beat a very, very good Hoxie team, 38-21, and they will play Prescott at home this Friday. To finish out our 3A for the year, we got Hoxie finishing at 5, Glen Rose at 6, Centerpoint at 7, Charleston 8, Newport 9, and Paris 10.
On to 4A. Boy, we got some powerhouses here.
Man, this is going to be fun.
It is. So Shiloh Christian, they were at number 1 last week and have been the entire season.
Mm-hmm.
They beat Rivercrest 41-7 to stay number 1 in the state. Robinson number 2. They beat Lamar 49-14 to stay at number 2. Warren was number 3. They beat Stuttgart at the end of the game.
Very close.
I don't know exactly when it happened in the game, but I know late Stuttgart was still winning. So Stuttgart or Warren will go on to play in the semifinals. Number 4 Arkadelphia beat Crossett 49-21. Statement game there.
Yes, it was.
Number 5 Stuttgart we mentioned lost, and then 6 Ashdown, Crossett lost at 7, 8 Rivercrest lost, 9 Ozark, and number 10 Lamar lost to Robinson. So now we have number 1 Shiloh Christian playing at home Friday night against the Arkadelphia Badgers.
And I believe Between the Mats will be in attendance.
We will be there, and I can't wait.
It'll be fun.
Number 2, Robinson. They're playing at Warren.
Man, that'll be a great one, too.
Yeah, it will be. I mean, you got 2, just physical athletic teams right there. Just going to go head to head. Number 3, Arkadelphia. We moved them from 4 to 3. Just because, man, they are rolling right now.
Playing some good football.
They are. But we're going to find out Friday night.
That's right.
We're going to find out a couple things. How much Arkadelphia's improved since the beginning of the season. We saw them early. We know how good they are.
Absolutely.
But we also know that level of competition in 4A can be pretty stout.
Yeah.
And so we're going to also, the other side of the coin is we're going to see how good Shiloh Christian
That's
is
right.
playing somebody.
I don't think Shiloh's been pushed this year.
No.
And
Ashdown, I think, was the closest.
And I don't know, Ashdown's got some dudes for sure.
Yeah.
But I don't know that they've seen the physicality that they're going to see Friday night.
I don't think so either. So that should be an awesome matchup. Number 4, Warren plays Robinson at Warren. Like we said, could be a great matchup there, especially with Warren having them at home.
Mm-hmm.
Finish it out. Number 5, Stuttgart. 6, Ashdown. 7, Crossett. 8, Rivercrest. 9, Ozark. And number 10, Lamar.
All right, to 5A we go. Last week we had PA 1, Greenbrier 2, Whitehall 3, Little Rock Christian 4, Fairview 5, Nettleton, Wynn, Magnolia, Valonia, and Maumelle. And this week, PA remains number 1 as they go into Greenbrier and beat Greenbrier 38-28. And Junk, what a ball game that was!
Boy, it sure was. It just took us a second to get things rolling.
Yeah,
and when we did, it was hard on them.
It was. I mean, they jumped out 29-0, and
yeah.
And we were kind of looking at each other like, oh,
what do
boy.
we do?
Yeah, this is going to be a quick night. And then, Greenbrier scores right before half to make it 29-7, come out, get the ball, and just kind of start finding our I think what happened is we tried to put some offenses in, expecting Cooper not to play and to try to keep the ball away from him.
Wildcat.
Yeah. And once we got back to running our offense, we were able to put some points on the board and made it a game. That
second half defense gave them all they wanted.
They did. That long run brought us to within 7.
Yeah.
With 5.5 minutes left.
Yeah. Outscored them 21-10 in the second half.
Yeah.
Just ran out of time.
Yeah. If we could have got that stop there at the end, we kicked the ball off to them. If we could have got a stop there, we'd have had a chance to go down tied or maybe even go for 2 to win it.
Right.
But we just couldn't get the stop.
Just couldn't get credit. Hats off to them.
Yeah, they got.
they're good.
They got a great team. Number 2, we moved Whitehall to number 2 as they beat Little Rock Christian 24-14, and will take on PA at War Memorial for the state championship. Number 3, Greenbrier, as we said, lost 38-28. Little Rock Christian, number 4. Number 5, Fairview. Number 6, Nettleton. Number 7, Wynn. Number 8, Magnolia, Valonia, and then Maumelle.
Just off of what we saw earlier this season with PA already beating Whitehall pretty handedly.
Yeah.
Had a tight first half.
Yeah, I think it was 21 off
Yeah.
at the half.
They pretty much finished them off pretty handedly, and then, of course, they also handled Christian. I think the state championship was Friday night.
Man, I agree. We've talked about it, and if ifs and buts were candy and nuts, we'd all have a Merry Christmas. But I would have loved to face them fully healthy.
Yeah, with our receivers.
With our receivers, and Cooper being 100%. But it was still a great contest. We held them to their second lowest total of the year,
That's right.
for points scored.
Right.
So.
And they're as advertised.
Yes, they are.
Especially
Joe Hyman. Man, let me just say, because I run the chains, and so I'm down there with the action.
Yeah.
We would stretch a play out defensively, and I think we have him hemmed up, and he would hit a crease that a 6-year-old couldn't fit through.
Yeah.
As just like a lightning bolt. Like I would think, we're fixed tackling for a loss, and he'd gain 12. Like it was unbelievable.
My first thoughts when I saw him playing was, wow, his explosiveness is his
next
football
level.
speed is crap. I've not seen a back that quick.
Yeah.
As the game went on, I was just as impressed with his ability to not go down.
Yeah.
He was hard to tackle,
Absolutely.
and he's not big.
He's strong. He's strong.
And, of course, the reason they won is because of my cousin
Is that what it was?
playing center. Yeah, Trevor Duke.
Absolutely.
That was the difference in the game.
I did hear his name get called from the sideline a few times.
Did you?
Yeah.
Were they yelling at him?
I don't know. I think they were cheering for him.
Okay, good. Hey, I saw their not to stretch us out, draw us out, but their offensive lineman coach posted something last week. It was a play that somebody of a college or somebody, and where the center pulled.
Oh yeah,
and made a play, and he said it reminds me of Trev Duke, and he tagged him.
Nice.
Anyway, and Trev came back and said he's got a little bit on me, talking about weight.
Yeah.
Well, the coach came back and said, I'm talking about just the pure athletic ability. I did not knowing him that way. Like I just knew he was had grown into a lineman,
Sure.
and has started as a sophomore, now a junior. But apparently he's just super athletic, and I love it.
Yeah.
I'm excited about it.
Absolutely. And I will brag on their offensive line because, I mean, to look at them, they're not very intimidating. You feel like you can get a push, but they kept us off him all night. I mean, they know how to technique their block. It's just really good.
I had to eat crow a little bit too on the broadcast, and I admitted it. I did. Pre-game, I said, this defense is not – I don't think this defense is near as good as what we've seen the past couple of weeks. Wrong.
They were good.
They were good.
They were good.
They were good. They were coached well.
Yeah, they brought pressure, a lot of it.
Yeah, they did. All right, we'll go to 6A now. All right, so we had Greenwood as the number 1 team in the state, even though Parkview beat them earlier in the season.
Yeah.
Me and Matt kind of contested each other on that. He was the Greenwood at number 1, and I was the Parkview. My concession seemed to be a correct one. Because
right.
they did win Friday night over Parkview 45-35 to remain at the number 1 spot. Greenwood, Parkview, they were number 2. They took the loss there. Number 3, El Dorado beat Marion, a team that has been fire red hot.
Yes.
And El Dorado handled them.
That score
60-27.
really surprised me.
Yeah.
It did.
I tell you what, I think when you've got some players like Shamon Rester and some of those other receivers, and I think that is the biggest proponent, I guess, against a team that's hot.
Sure.
Because you can be hot and beat a good football team, but just pure athletic ability.
It's hard to match up.
That's right.
Yeah.
It doesn't go away.
That's right.
And I think that's what happened. I just think you saw the stars shine.
Sure.
And so, they're gonna play Greenwood Friday night as the number 2 team in the state against number 1.
That's pretty awesome. We played El Dorado this summer at the Shootout of the South in 707, and you could just tell their pure athleticism. I mean, the quarterback had a rocket arm. They had a receiver. I think they said ran like a 10-4 in the 100, like state champ or something. Like it's just
That's
silly.
nuts.
Yeah.
That's nuts. To finish it on out, because that is the state championship game there between 1 and 2, Greenwood and El Dorado. Finish it out. Parkview 3, Marion 4, Benton 5, 6, Jonesboro 7, Lake Hamilton, 8, Russellville, 9, Sylvan Hills, and 10, Mountain Home. Next year, we'll have some new teams in 6A.
Yes, we will.
You'll have Pulaski Academy. You'll have Little Rock Christian, and then of course Greenbrier.
Yeah, and Catholic's dropping
they're
down.
dropping down.
Yeah.
And then is Parkview dropping down as 5?
Yes.
I heard that.
Yes.
Jonesboro, I think, maybe going to 7.
I think that's right.
So, man, you talk about. I don't know how they'll divide the conference, but no matter how they divide it, the West is going to be just
Silly. Yes, because I think right now, if everything stays the same, I think there's going to be 19 6A teams, so you'll have 10 in one conference and 9 in the other. So.
And the ones that are adding are all leaning to the west side of the state.
That's right. It'll be interesting.
It will.
All right, on to 7 we go, and this has not changed in months, and it's had just a little bit of a change as Bryant stays number 1. They beat North Little Rock, North Little Rock jumped out on them 13-0, and Bryant ended up battling back.
That.
Yeah, Bryant ends up battling back, beating them 28-13, and great year for Coach Sanderford and North Little Rock over there. They took them to the wire. Number 2, we had Conway. They went down in a close one. I think Conway went up 21-20. I believe that's right.
I saw it 21-20 in the 4th. I don't know what time, but in like the last minute or two, maybe.
Yeah, I think they said. I think they went down and kicked a field goal and then had a pick 6. So they scored.
I believe it was like an option that was picked.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah, I think he picked off the pitch.
So yeah, Conway loses in heartbreaking fashion to end their season at 10-2. And number 3, we had North Little Rock. We talked about them losing. Number 4, we had Fayetteville, them winning and beating Conway. And then to finish it out, we had Bentonville, Cabot, Northside Rogers, Bentonville West, and Harbor. And so this week, Bryant remains number 1. They will take on number 2, Fayetteville, at War Memorial Stadium for the state championship. And number 3, we had Conway, and number 4, North Little Rock, and everything else stayed the same.
I bet you, now that I think about it, it being at the end of the game, and what I'd heard was that the pitch was intercepted, I bet you it was a last play lateral.
Yeah, probably.
I bet you
so.
that's what it was.
Yeah. All right, so that wraps us up for our high school talk. Other than we got to do our picks and then players of the week. And one thing I forgot to mention, Arkansas State lost to Texas State Saturday to end their season 10-2. Very disappointing season for the Red Wolves. Lane Hatcher was 25 of 37 for 277 yards and 2 touchdowns. Corey Rucker had 8 catches for 85 yards and a touchdown. And from what I understand, Hatcher led them down the field with under a minute to play to kick a game-winning field goal from 48 yards.
Really?
And they said it was about 15-mile-an-hour wind.
Oh,
and
gosh.
It just knocked it down short.
Were they playing in Texas?
I'm not sure. I'd have to look.
I don't know.
I think it was up
in Jonesboro.
In Jonesboro, yeah.
So, well, it was windy Saturday because Harding game was exceptionally windy as well, so that makes sense. Harding, I mentioned they lost earlier, but they played Northwest Missouri State. They lost 28-9. Had more offense, held them to 245 yards of offense.
God, that is crazy. That's crazy.
255, I think, and got beat. Cole Chansey, though, 122 yards rushing. That'll end his career. And Saturday, he went over 5,000 yards in his career.
That is so awesome, man. Hats off to Coach Simmons and the Bisons over there. What an amazing year they had.
Yeah, love them.
Yeah. So, all right. So, on to our picks. And so, this will be our second to last week we pick. And before we crown the champion, Junk's still up.
I'm not saying you're behind, but I do have a meeting with my tailor this week to measure my head.
I got you.
And it's big.
Yeah.
It's big.
And it's getting bigger. All right, so let's get started. Number 1, we got Bryant against Fayetteville at War Memorial Stadium for the state championship. Bryant looking to win their 4th consecutive state championship.
Crazy, isn't it?
What a job Buck James has done over there. All right, so I'm going to go with the upset in this one.
Really?
I'm going the Purple Dogs by 1.
I see what you're doing here. You're trying to make
I'm trying to make some ground up, baby.
What'd you go, Fayetteville, with a what?
By 1.
All right. Well, reason I did it this way is I think, will they still be the home team?
Probably
Okay,
so.
so Fayette will be the home team
Yeah.
at one more. Okay. All right, I went with Bryant by 10.
Okay. All right. That's the sensible pick.
I don't know, though. I mean, you look at it, Conway lost to Bryant on the last play of the game, right?
Yes, they did.
It's
gonna be a good ball game.
There's no reason to say that it won't be close.
Well, and I think here's one thing. Conway throws it around a lot, but they still run the ball a lot
Right.
too. I don't know that Bryant has faced a
they have not.
sure enough passing team.
Not in Arkansas.
Yeah, that's right.
Because nobody in the Central
Throws it
besides them
yeah,
throws it around like that.
Sure.
Cabot maybe.
Yeah.
But Cabot also runs the ball out.
they do. All right, so the next game we got the state championship of 6A. We got El Dorado, the visiting team, at Greenwood in War Memorial Stadium. I'm going the Bulldogs of Greenwood to win another state championship. I've got Greenwood by 3.
I have Greenwood by 3.
All right, I'm
pulling for Lower Arkansas. I'm pulling for LA.
I got you. Number 3, the 5A state championship, Whitehall. And by the way, this is Coach Bowling's 3rd different school to take to the state finals.
Really?
Is that not impressive?
Where was he before this?
So he took Stuttgart.
Yes.
And they actually won a state championship
Yes, at
there.
Stuttgart.
And then Pine Bluff, I don't know
Okay.
if they won one, or I know they went,
yeah.
but I don't know if they won one. But what a great job Coach Bowling's done with this program. They will take on Pulaski Academy, War Memorial, on Friday night, and I've got PA by 17 in this one.
I got PE by 14. You know what's funny? You talk about him being at those 3 schools. He didn't have to drive very far to move either.
No, he sure did. He sure didn't. All right, number 4, and this is a semifinal game in 4A, one that between the mats will be in attendance. We got Arkadelphia traveling up to Northwest Arkansas to take on the Shiloh Christian Saints, and I've got the Arkadelphia Badgers in an upset. I've got them going into hostile environment and beating the Saints by 1.
You're just trying to gain brownie points on me. All right. I don't know where we're going to sit.
I know we're going to have to split up
Yeah,
and
we
change
are.
at halftime.
I've got Shiloh by 8.
Well, you can sit Shiloh side. I'll
You'll
sit.
sit Arkadelphia. All right.
No, I love both these
I do
schools.
too.
I just hope it's a good
So
ball
many
game.
good people. I mean, well, we've really got to know these people at both schools and just good folks.
That's
man.
right.
Just fans.
Yeah, no doubt. All right, the other semifinal in 4A will be Robinson taking on Warren. They're going to Warren, which will be tough, but I'm going to go with Robinson in this one by 7.
I'm going Robinson by 10.
Okay. And on to 3A we go. We got Prescott going to McGee to take on the undefeated Owls. I've got McGee by 3.
Prescott Curly Wolves by 3.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, I'm not going to desert you, Coach Clay.
All right, the 7th game that we're picking, we've got the other semifinal in 3A, Boonville going to Harding Academy, and I've got the Harding Academy Wildcats, and that defense going to come up big. I've got them by 3.
I got them by 9.
Okay. And then on to 2A we go. We got McCrory at Poen. I've got McCrory by 7.
I got McCrory by 10.
Okay, and then Clarendon going to Fordyce, the defending state champion Red Bugs. I've got Clarendon by 10.
I got Clarendon by 4.
Very nice, very
Thought I was
nice.
going to pick Fordyce, didn't you?
I did. So we've only got 3 different, so that's not too bad.
You picked him by 10?
Yeah,
So you're confident.
I am.
I think after last week, Clarendon's going to be tough to
They are.
beat.
They are. And that they're doing this without their hog commit tight end, Mr. Dax Gordon.
I know, right?
You know, it's
Can
crazy.
you imagine if he was out there?
Goodness gracious. All right, so highlight these kids that deserve some little attention this week.
All right, this week's Between the Mats Players of the Week. We have got to get some shirts out.
Yes, we do.
Like this week, we got to get on that. Hey, we've been a little sidetracked. A lot going on, but this week we need to get on
Yeah,
that.
for sure.
All right, 2A, from Poen, Colton Lowe. 3A, from Boonville, Randon Ray. 4A, not the first time we've seen this name, but from Arkadelphia, Donovan Witten. 5A, from a Pulaski Academy. No shocker here, Joseph Hyman. 6A, from Greenwood, Hunter Houston, another one we've seen before on this list. And then I think we've seen this one too. If not, we've seen him everywhere else. And that is from Fayetteville, quarterback, Bladen Fike.
Congratulations to those guys and those teams. Most of those teams have moved on in the playoffs. So
Yeah, I think all of them did.
So what a season those guys have had, and man, we're almost to the end, Junk.
It's almost here, man.
We've almost made it.
We got to figure out what we're going to do when this thing's over. And I guess we're just going to do basketball.
Yeah.
I'm kind of like you, though. I've been keeping up with the Hogs, but I don't know if my mind's ready for high school ball yet.
Yeah, no doubt. All right, guys, we got anything else?
No, that's it.
All right. Well, we appreciate y'all listening. If you're going to the Shiloh game this Friday, be on the lookout for me and Junk. We'll be up there watching some good football and probably go eat maybe some Wright's barbecue before.
I was going to say, send us a message if you got an idea on some good food.
Yeah.
We need to check out.
We tried to eat at Wright's last year.
It was drive-through only.
Drive-through only.
Yep.
Matt
wouldn't let me eat barbecue in his truck.
We like to get a little messy when we eat. All right, guys.
Shoot us a message and give us some ideas.
For sure. Thanks for listening. We'll check y'all next week.
Later on.